So I figured out how to start looking where to buy, where to sell, and what levels will Nifty adhere to. And in my experience of whatever for 8 days which I've been tracking this, I've been in I have a trading buddy called Rishabh. We have been really actively tracking these levels, and we have found a very we've observed that Nifty really respects levels. Nifty trades in a predictable manner, so Nifty levels are easy to track. Now we wanted to try and implement this onto equity, but we realized eventually that equity is not worth our time. It's in the Nifty itself is so predictable, and this is why we came into Nifty options. So I will be from now onwards. I mean, apart from delivery, should the market favor delivery-based trades, we will be doing intraday only on future, only on option trading, especially of Nifty. And we will not be jumping into too many trades. We're not going to have more than two max. At max, we're going to have 3 trades in a day. There is going to be no fear of missing out, which I have really been sensing on the groups for like the past 2 weeks. People have been jumping into trades, and even I have been getting some pressure to put some trades. So let's be disciplined. Let's have our risk managed, and this is far more profitable than anything else. So first, I will come to what are derivatives. Now, I'm sure you guys are actually new to equities as well, but I guess you've gotten the hang of it that equity is nothing but buying and selling of shares. But derivatives are not, this is not equity. These come under contracts. These are basically contracts that derive their value from the value of an underlying asset class. They are extremely liquid and they're highly leveraged. And there are two of these types. So there's futures and there's options. You would have heard of the word FNO. So FNO is basically derivatives. We are not covering futures. We are only doing options. Now, what is an option contract? Before we start option trading, I want you to know what it actually means. So an option is a contract that gives the option buyer the right, but not the obligation. Please focus, the right, but not the obligation to exercise the contract on the expiry date at a specified price, at a specified strike price. To enter an option contract, the option buyer pays a premium. The premium changes in value based on two factors, that is of time and that is of the relative positioning of the underlying asset. So the characteristic properties of options are this, that there is a strike price. So for example, let's say Nifty 12800C. See, if you saw in the group yesterday, I said buy Nifty 127,500C. So 750C. So 750 was the strike price, and we bought a call. C means call. So we were basically betting that this is going to be above 750. At that point, that contract roughly costed about 160 rupees per lot premium. So you would have to pay about 160 into 70. I'll explain these things, but premium is the capital required to purchase an option contract once you multiply it by the lot size. So the lot size is the number of shares that will be bought or sold per lot should the contract be exercised. So for example, in Bank Nifty, the lot size is 25, I think, and for Nifty, it's 75. Strike price is the level you are betting on. So if you are saying that it's going to be above 12,750, then you will put a contract of 12,750. Now, these are examples of contracts. If you go and you search these, if you guys are free, if you can just go to Kite right now parallelly and just search these things. So these are all option contracts. Okay, this Nifty, December, 12800C, then this P. These are the changes in the premiums. As you can see, these move also by quite a bit. And the cost of entering into that contract. Now, I'm going to explain some basics of option contracts, but please refer that these are only related to the buying of option contracts. Selling of option contracts is a different ball game altogether. It requires about 5 to 10 lakhs of investment, which none of us have. So we are not going to be selling contracts. We're only going to be buying contracts. And do not confuse buying with being bullish and selling with being bearish. No, options don't work like this. You can buy a contract and you can be bullish, and you can buy a contract and you can be bearish. Similarly, you can sell a contract and be bullish, and you can sell a contract and be bearish. Here are call options. So this is that anything with a CE after it is considered a call option. So inherently, when you buy a call option, you are basically saying that ये ऊपर जाएगा. You have to know that it's a bullish thing. You are expecting it to go up. So when you buy a call option, you're buying the right to purchase from the seller of that option, 100 or 75 or how many ever lots are there. So sorry. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. When you buy a call option, you are buying the right to purchase from the seller of that option about 100 or 75 or 25, depending on the lot size, number of shares of a particular stock. But we do indexes at a predetermined price. And this is called strike price. So supposing, forget, let's not take Nifty for now. Let's say that I went and bought the options for Reliance. Okay. I went and bought the options for Reliance, saying that after like at the end of this week or at the end of this month, hmm, at the end of this week or at the end of this month, basically I am saying that this contract will be above 2000. So what happens is, supposing say I got in, okay, I thought, so currently Reliance ka option is at 2000 and I decided to buy the option saying this will be above 2000 at the end of the week. Why do people come late, man? Okay. So say I decided to buy the option. I decided to buy Reliance ka options for 2000 and I said that at the end of the week this will be above 2000. So supposing I bought it on Monday and by Friday or Thursday, so rather, Reliance is now valued at 2000 and 2200. Now, why is this profitable to me? It's because I now have the power to buy something for 2000 when its market value is now 2200. So you see, per share, I now have a 200 rupee advantage on me. So this is the whole essence of option trading, where if you want to buy it, you are basically betting that it's going to be higher. So if you buy the call option, you are betting that it will be higher at the end of towards the expiry. If you're buying the put option, you are betting that it's going to be lower. Here we are. So a put option is nothing but the opposite. It basically says that you are going to have the power to, um, you will basically have the power to buy the shares at a higher price later, at a lower price in the market, because you can force the seller of the option to buy your shares at a price above the market value. Basically, it's like, supposing I feel that Reliance, it's at 2000 today. I feel that Reliance is going to be at about 1800 bucks at the end of this week. And I know that I can basically pay less to buy Reliance now, and then I can sell it off at a much higher value. I can sell it off later on in a profit. So in short, when you buy a call, you're going bullish. You buy a put, you're going bearish. And we are not going to hold contracts till expiry. We are just going to take options and trade them for not more than like 20 minutes at a time. 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops at a time. Our trades are not going to last long. We do not care about how time passes. We don't need to care about expiry. We just need to care about our trade. We need to manage our risk. So I will now show you what analysis I have planned out. Here we are. Now this is Nifty. Okay. Look at Nifty. This is yesterday's spot chart. So a spot chart is nothing but the chart of the asset which we are trading, like the asset on which we are deriving its value. But at the same time, say if I wanted to add another chart, I will add another chart to show you. Okay. So you see, this is the chart of Nifty itself, and this is the 12,850s put chart. So put is basically a contract which will go up in value when the underlying contract which you're trading will go down. So as you can see here, it's literally nothing but a mirror image of what Nifty is doing. The put contract is nothing but a mirror image. As you can see, at about this point is about where, about at about, see, 10 o'clock this thing falls, about 10:20 this thing falls, and in this case at about 10:20 this thing starts going up. You can see out here at about 10:20 this thing starts increasing in value while this thing starts decreasing in value. So this is the chart of the thing we will trade, and this will be the spot chart. So we make our trades based on the spot chart, but we are actually trading something like this. Now, if you want to know that if you had went and bought the put at this point, at this particular instant, if you had bought the 12,850 put, which is basically a bearish thing, then you would have seen, you would have made about roughly, you would have bought in and out here, best case scenario 110, and you would have sold this off at a peak of 170 almost. So this is a huge profit. This is about 60 divided by 170 as percent. This is about a 55% change in your wealth. While this thing moved only about from, it hardly even moved actually. I mean, this is not even this is a very slow day. This is like a range bound day. But you see the previous day, this thing fell from here roughly. I took this trade, by the way. It fell from here. I bought the 12,950, the PE at about 22 rupees premium. And that thing went to 140 at this point. And you can see even here, you would have bought it roughly out here and it went up skyrocketing. But supposing we wanted to buy the, like I also gave a trade yesterday where I said at about 12,750, you can buy the call. So you are basically now being bullish. So if I open the chart for you, I would like to show you that. See, I'm searching 12,750 CE. I'm opening the November option chart. As you can see, this thing moves exactly like the normal one. You can see now they are identical. Okay, they move exactly the same, almost exactly the same. They're not. This is not a mirror image because this is a bullish thing, and you're getting it right. So this moves exactly with the spot chart, and the put chart moves opposite to the spot chart. So assuming you would have gotten in at given it about 750, so here this level was at roughly say about 1140, and this was about 1140 as well. If you had bought this thing at about 111 in the middle of the day, somewhere about here at about 2 o'clock actually, you would have almost doubled your money. So while Nifty is moving on its own, if you can identify ranges, you can identify levels, you can basically, whilst managing your risk with a reference point, you can actually make some very good trades, and these can be far more profitable than you can imagine. Now, the reason why people get scared to do options is because people have lost their money, and this only happens when you have no idea what you are doing. You end up holding contracts till expiry, and you have no risk management, you have no levels, you have no confirmation. So if you are going to do it in an irresponsible manner, options are not for you. But since most of you, I have observed, are very ambitious, and that's how we all should be, I feel that options is the way to go. Thanks to its predictability, thanks how it retests levels. I will show you how the levels are retested and how I'll be giving the trades from now shortly. I'll be explaining those things. I'll show you another day. Let's look at yesterday. Okay, this is Nifty's yesterday chart. So we had a valid level at about 950. It tested it once. It made a retest. Honestly, I would have given the trade here. I would have given a stop loss at the peak of this point as the point of no return, as you would call it. And this trade itself would have given you about 35% change in money. Had you taken the next trade, we would have caught the first test. So the second retest, I would have gotten in. I would have put my stop loss here. Yes, I would have hit my stop loss. It would have been a small loss, but it would have again crossed over with this voluminous breakout. Your analysis is again valid, so you can again enter. So one more thing why we are going to be trading options from now, apart from the lack of manipulation and the orderly movement it follows, is because the cost of getting into an option contract is rather cheap. If you go and you buy, say, you buy 2 lots, okay, you buy 2 lots of anything, and say it costs about 20,000 total to invest. Your total charges on that trade will not cross 80 bucks. And option contracts move so fast, you can easily make 3K in like, 5, 10 minutes. But if you do intraday equity, apart from all the manipulation and all the headaches aside, the fact remains that when you do equity, it is really slow to move, and the securities transaction tax is really high. So I will show you a tab where I will show you what the brokerages are for two relevant contracts, and I will show you how much of a difference it actually makes. So now, say we made a 10% change in, say, Reliance. Say we got a 1% change in Reliance. Okay, so we bought, say, for 2000, we sold it for 20, we sold it for 2020. And say we had a capital of only 20K, so we could technically have afforded 10 shares, but we had leverage of 10x on Reliance, so we bought 100. This is what we used to originally do. Now the total tax and charges on this trade about 120, out of which the securities transaction tax is about 51 and the brokerage is 40. And this whole 1% change, if you all know from equity, it takes forever to happen. Like equities move really slow. But if you go to FNO options, if you go to FNO options, say you made a 10% change. Okay, this is about a 10% change exactly, and you bought like 75, like one lot, or say if it was say two lots, about almost 20. So you bought about two lots of this is 150. You would have made 14252, but you see your total tax and charges are only 74. And this thing moves also really fast. Like imagine now we had caught, imagine if we had caught, say that trade where I gave you, where we got on 110 and that thing went to 200. Okay, say we took that trade and our total capital in that trade would have been about 15,000 roughly, and we would have made about 13,000 rupees as profit on that trade. And how much would our tax and charges to make such a ridiculous amount of profit be? Only 90 rupees. So in
Zorawar, you'll have to put the comparative value of the turnover, because you're talking about a turnover in Reliance of 4,02,000, whereas the turnover in the call option you're talking about just 46,000.
correct. So
Yeah,
all the more better, right? For a lesser turnover, you are basically potential to easily track such movements. See, the best, okay, if you take the best trade on Reliance, okay, the best trade on Reliance, you can make about a 5% spread. Okay, on a exceptional day, if you have accurately predicted it, you can make at max 5% on it. So say you caught a 5% spread, okay, which is the max you can do in equity. You would have made about, on a 20,000 rupee investment, because you get 10x leverage on intraday. So in the best case scenario also, if you caught a 5% spread on Reliance, which is very rare, you would have made about 10,000 rupees on 20% on 20,000. A best case scenario, which is highly unlikely. On the other hand, options move by large values every day. If you control your risk, you are going to be extremely profitable. Same, so let's take it as 225, then our total, let's take it as 150 only. But in this case, for about buying two lots of something, you would have made about a 13,000 profit on an investment of about roughly 15,000 or 16,000 rupees, roughly. So these kind of numbers in buy and sell happen far more often and far more easily in options. But in equity, this does not happen at all. And there's an additional headache of transaction charges and break even. You see the break even also, it's so different. Which is why options, I believe, are the way to go thanks to the predictability and their levels. I'll go back to my charts. You see now, this was another day. Yeah, I'll take this day. This was also a day where I was paper trading. I put it on the group. I said you can buy it. No, it's not. It was here. So I said that I remember I put on the group. For those who remember it, I said that it's not gonna go below 800, and 800 is a level to take support on. And here we are at 800. It took a rejection. It took a second rejection, and it went up. And this was also about a 40% change in your money. Now I cannot access this option data in the weekly chart, but on the monthly chart, I'm sure I can. So I'll just do that for you nonetheless. So if we check the timings when this trade happened, and if you check the 800 mark, when this hit the 800 mark at about 11:16. Say we had gotten even higher at about this point, 805 after the rejection. Let's take a tougher case. And here at this, conversely, at the same time, say we had gotten in out here. At this point, the premium would have been valued at roughly about 145. You would have bought in the premium of 145, and the highest this would have gone to in the day would have been about 164 and then 176. So had you gotten under 145 and had you gotten under 176, I'm talking about the best case for now. You see, there is so much more movement and such large ROIs that you can catch on your stocks, which is why this is far more predictable. Now, I think I will come to how we are going to take this forward from now. So the question you might ask me is, how are we going to do these trades? Where are you going to put your stop loss? How are we going to proceed? What is going to be the structure to this thing and how is it going to be taken forward? So what I'm going to do is every morning, I have a whole framework lined up for this. Every morning at about 9:15 to 9:20, I will mark out, I will tell you the levels of significance. Okay. So now I want everyone to pay attention to this because this is going to really concern you when it comes to your trades. So I want each and every one of you to trade your charts with an indicator called pivot points and ensure that it is Fibonacci. Can everybody see this? Make sure that you have your pivot points and you have it such that it's at Fibonacci, because pivots are important points in a chart. Pivot points are actually levels calculated a day before based on high, low, opening and close. So it's a formula and the next day they become active. Additionally, I want you guys, you see these yellow lines, these are all horizontal lines that are marked out with this tool. Okay, there's a tool, you can just simply find them. It's called yellow line. You can just find horizontal lines, put whatever color you want, that does not matter. And ensure that you mark out the levels of significance. So the pivots, and then see 950, it's an emotional number, 900, 850, 12800, 12750. These are all relevant numbers in charts when it comes to Nifty. So I want you people, I want each and every one of you to mark out these levels of significance, because we will be checking for tests and retests on any of these levels as the index moves throughout the day. So I will not give you a trade based on when you touch the level. I will only notify you that a level of significance, it may be a pivot or it may be a Nifty number like 12900, 12800. I will only notify you when when the index has started hitting these levels for the first time. So the moment you see, say in this case, you see a rejection. Okay. This is a rejection. I will not push you into the trade now because you know it can go up also. I will wait. I will just warn you that this is a valid level which we can trade in the future, soon enough in the future. And you should be open and you should be ready with the relevant option chart. When I detect a second favorable retest, so a second favorable retest is when the chart, when the spot chart retests a particular level such that it has rejected at a point lower than the previous rejection. As you can see, there exists this gap here compared to the previous rejection. And the moment you sense a second favorable rejection, it may even be at the pivot. You have to give it some range to move. That is my problem. I will mention those to you when the second rejection has happened. That is the time when you go and you take your trade and you go and you put your stop loss at the previous peak. So you have a point of no return for your analysis every time. Conversely, same way now, if you had gotten into this trade, you would have made quite a bit of money. Okay, assuming you had missed this trade, Nifty trends twice a day. So now see, on assuming we could not see anything after this point. So it would have first touched this level. I would have thought that it's going to reject the 750 level itself. Okay. Who would have known that it's going to go to 740? So I would have mentioned that this has tested this level for the first time, but instead of going up, it went further and it tested another level of significance, which is the next corresponding pivot. And only after it rejected it did I understand that now there has been a rejection. So this test was of the level was invalid, but this test of the test of this level is now valid. So I will look for a retest of this level. I will look for now a second favorable retest of this level. And here you are, we got a second favorable level of this level. So I would have given the trade here. I would have told you to put your stop loss out here as per the option chart. You cannot put a stop loss on the spot chart. And you could have held this thing till stop loss. Now either you could have gotten out here, you could have gotten out here, or you could have gotten scared and gotten out here, or even out here if you didn't have the patience to hold till stop loss. And if you had held on, you would have almost doubled your money yesterday. So if your risk is managed, if you know your loss is defined, you will never be scared to hold on to a trade, is what I believe. If you know that at max, this is the only amount of money I can lose. And you see, this is a very small amount of money to risk or a reward of this. This is like a risk to reward of about 1:10, 1:25. Okay. So these are very, very high risk to reward ratio, high risk to reward trades. So it's okay to hit your stop loss even 5 times, because as I said, I showed you the break even. It is really cheap. It is expensive. You start losing money in options only when you start going in the negative. If you hit your stop loss, you can hit your stop loss 5 times also. It won't make a difference. Next trade, you will make a lot of money. So as long as the analysis is valid, you don't have to worry about the stop loss, but you have to ensure it's always there. Now I'll show you another case of where we would have had a stop loss hit. This is yesterday. Okay. So this was a valid level. I would have told you these levels of significance prior to the, by 9:15, 9:20, I will tell you where the levels are, where the contracts are, where the expiries are. Now this would have been a first retest because it would have rejected this level and gone below. I would have mentioned that a test has happened of a level of significance of 950. You would have opened your Nifty 12,950 put chart because you are going to short this level. It's a level of resistance. Now when I would have seen a second retest at this point, you see, if I zoom in even more, at this point, when this would have broken till here, I would have thought that, okay, this is a valid rejection. So I would have gotten in and I would have put my stop loss as per this point as the highest previous point in the first test. So even if this would have happened, I would be fine because this is all within my risk. This is all within my risk model. You see, I have my risk assessed and I have my model for it. And then this would have been about a 30% profit trade. Nonetheless, let's take the next case. It tested the level again because the movement has happened once. This is not a retest. This is now a test. This is the first test. I would have considered this to be my second test and I would have gotten in here. I would have put a stop loss here. And yes, I would have hit my stop loss. See, this is an example of a trade where I would have hit my stop loss. But when this would have broken down again, my analysis would now again become valid. And I would have told you to take that trade. And I also took this trade myself personally that day. I made about 1,000 rupees on 3,500 rupees because I exited in this much time. If I had held on, I would have made 8 times my money on it. But that's okay. That's not a problem. There's no fear of missing out. As long as you can define your risk, as long as you can cap it, as long as you stick to risk management, we are looking at risk to reward ratios about nothing less than 1:10, 1:20. We are looking at such high risk to rewards. As long as you know how to cap your risk, this is the most profitable thing you can ever do. Again, let's take another case. Okay. This was a level of significance because it's a pivot. So I will mention when a level of significance has been tested. You can see there's a second retest, but it's a favorable retest as the retest happened at a level higher than it. So it symbolizes an additional increase in buying pressure. So Nifty has no other way else but to go up. So by understanding these certain patterns and these certain cues in charts, this becomes a very profitable thing if you have your risk capped. Now let's just take an example of, say, yesterday, a live example of the first trade and how you would have basically taken these trades and how we would have progressed as time would have passed. So I think the relevant chart for this point, just a moment, please. The relevant chart would have been at about 950. No, this is the next. Very sorry. Oh God. So this is 850 is a level, and 850p. Okay. Now I will zoom into each point where I would have given the first like a first preemptive notification that we are about to test, this level has been tested and we may re-enter soon, we may enter the trade soon. So this happened at about roughly at about 920 with the level, and this is a put chart, so it will move exactly opposite to the index chart. Again, as you can see, 920. Yep. See, the peaks correspond. So this would have first been our, I would have noticed a first test of a critical level. Okay. I would always track the spot chart only and nothing else. I would have mentioned that there has been a test of a level of significance at 12,850, and we can short the 12,850 level. We can short the 12,850 level on my signal when I give it. So I would have understood that yes, this is the point of no return for our analysis. I would have given you a reasonable stop loss of about 112. Then we would have basically caught the next retest. Now you see this trade is given only when this reaches this point. So do not think that your stop loss was hit because we have not entered the trade yet. So there's always a small amount of difference between the chart and the option chart due to the sheer large amount of movements the trades make. So once we would have seen this rejection, okay, this rejection would have happened roughly out here when I would have seen this rejection at 1022, when I would have seen this rejection, our corresponding, the option chart would have been here at 114. And since now the spot chart has respected the level, but in this case, this level slightly lower, I would have given you the stop loss. So I will give you the stop loss for every trade. That's my job. Don't worry about it. I'm just explaining to you what we are going to be doing. So you also have an idea of what is being done in this whole game. So I would have told you to buy this thing, and I have told you to put your stop loss at this peak because this is the point of no return for this analysis. So 108, and you got 140. And since the rejection on the spot chart confirmed that it's a valid trend, we could see that this thing went skyrocketing upwards to give us a very profitable trade, extremely profitable trade. The risk to reward of over 1 is to, yeah, this would be a risk to reward of easily over 1 is to 50, 1 is to 25, 1 is to 30, easy. You see this region out here, I'll just mark it out. You see this particular relevant region, it is actually such a small, I'll just draw the line. Okay. You see, this region is now a risk, but our reward is from, our potential risk to reward is from here to here. So as you can see, this region to this region is far more than this region to this region. So these trades have very good and tight risk to rewards. The problem where actually people start losing money in futures and options is now when they start entering in between, they think, chalo upar jayega, niche aayega, let's see. When you start taking hunches, that's when you start losing money. But when you have valid Nifty levels based on option chain data, when you have valid risk management techniques in place, you can be happy to hit your stop loss even 3 times. So the moment the trade works, it works beautifully. Okay. Does anyone have any doubts so far? Please switch on your mics and please ask me questions.
Hi, Zoravar, just one thing. In the
This,
Nifty 50 chart.
Acha, Anand, hey buddy, yeah.
Yeah. So in the Nifty 50 chart, you're calling the third crest as another retest. This I can understand because it's an entire chart we are seeing and we've seen how it progressed. So I can understand why you're calling that the retest here. But why aren't you considering the second crest as the retest here?
Can you mention the
Essentially,
time so I can actually have a better idea?
I think just after 940.
After 940, this
No. Just
here. No,
yeah,
see,
this one. Why isn't
see,
this a retest?
this is not a retest because look, when you actually observe Nifty now this is actually a matter of experience more than anything. You know that Nifty does not, you see, this is the morning hours, okay? So Nifty does a lot of random shit in the morning, and you know
Mhm.
that this kind of a level can never correct out this fast. It is from any option trader or any person who's been tracking Nifty, even my friend Rishabh on the group, I remember we were analyzing this that day. We knew this is just nonsense because there is indecision. So I remember we saw the option chain. We saw a lot of indecision at these levels, and this was just a random bounce of indecision. It was not clear-cut movement. You see, you start understanding it when it is within an acceptable range of the pivot. For example, I'll show you if I go back also. Now I gave another example of a trade. So you see, I gave this as a relevant retest because you can understand the levels, but I did not mention this as a retest. This was just nonsense. This is why this is not a trade we would have taken anyway.
Got it.
Similarly, see, it's about it being in an acceptable zone, and there is no fixed number for an acceptable zone. It is actually a matter of instinct that you sense how much. See, when you just look at a chart now, you are just seeing the candles, okay? But when you are seeing it real time now, you are seeing how the candles were hitting. You are seeing,
Exactly.
you see how much pressure you could, you can sense with how much momentum those candles move. Right now it is just a photo, but when you're actually seeing it, you can get far more cues about what those levels are. And plus, from experience, I know for a fact even this would not have been a retest because we would have opened the spot, we would have opened the option chart, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You see the option chart, this peak did not correspond at all as a reasonable rejection. This was just random nonsense in between. This was more like a thing around the VWAP than a thing around the level. You're getting it? I think this would
Got it.
be the answer better. This would be the answer to your. So the moment you see a retest now, I basically I have the Nifty chart in front of me all the time. But the moment I see a level of significance which is being rejected, I will also open the corresponding option chart because they also tell you a different story.
Got it. I think the second chart makes more sense to me. Got it.
Yeah, I think this because this is not a retest of a level. This is all 1 minute
Fair enough. Yeah.
noise.
Got it.
Great. So have you understood how we cap our risk? This is the most important thing. If you're doing FNO, if you don't cap your risk, you're going to go broke. Either you can be scared of it or you can embrace it and you can actually make so much money. I'm telling you, so I don't know if I told you this, but I told a lot of people, a lot of my subscribers that, this is a guy called Mitesh Patel. I was watching his channel and this fellow goes and puts up a YouTube video saying happy Dhanteras, puts an intraday option profit of 60 lakhs. And I am mind blown. And as you can see, as you can all see, a 10% movement is nothing for options. You're getting it. This movement would have been about 35 to 40%. So a 10% movement in options is nothing. So if you come in with about, say, if you come in with just about like say 30K or 40K and you just make 3-4K a day, you go out. Or say you come in with like 7-8 lakhs. The very fact that options are so liquid means that you can even trade crores on these without worrying. If if you go to equities, you go and buy a crore of shares, that whole market will move against you. The whole market will move and do anything of its own. So you cannot do all this in equity. And that's why remember I told you guys that as I mentioned in my first slide, that derivatives derive their value from the basis of an underlying asset. Okay. Underlying asset class. But the truth is today, asset classes are actually moving as per where the derivative contracts are. This is one thing which anyone, if you speak to anyone else also who's been in this for a while, eventually you will learn that actually the derivative derives its value from the asset. So if Reliance goes up, then Nifty should go up. If but what is happening is it's the opposite happening. So I think I was mentioning on the group that today all the big people have lost money, and this is also one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. This is my observation. And I was really excited to see. I think I put a link on the group also yesterday that, one, I think one big mega trader lost like a lot of money yesterday because